Man is in the building, of course. Jersey's finest, all about them bars, marijuana smoker. Hey, PSA announcement. I need everybody go support. That's right, support my fucking state, my city. Heritage Hip Hop, a New Jersey media source that celebrates New Jersey hip hop worldwide. Facts. And we are celebrating our legends right here, Jersey, baby. Please subscribe to Heritage Hip Hop on social media. That is Heritage Hip Hop on social media. Jersey, you know I love you. Jersey, you know we got bars and we got music and we got legends all day. And if you believe in Jersey and you love Jersey like I do, support that Heritage Hip Hop on all social media platforms. This is Redman and I approve this message.
Peace and blessings to everybody out there. This is Karev at Heritage Hip Hop. Welcome you to another podcast. Before we get to this podcast, though, make sure you subscribe to heritagehiphop.com. It says so on the screen right there. See that YouTube down over there? Go to our YouTube page and watch this interview. Check out all our interviews. But more importantly, subscribe, hit the like button. Make sure you share, comment. If you like what you see, you like to donate, Cash App, $ Heritage Hip Hop. So when we have some Patreon thing going on, we want to keep this platform moving and growing because the goal is not only to celebrate New Jersey hip hop, it's to celebrate hip hop worldwide and bring you your future favorite artists today while celebrating those people who have laid the foundation of great hip hop worldwide. And for all my 420 smokers out there, 420 coming up, what y'all doing this weekend? You want to support Heritage Hip Hop? Look, we got Heritage Hip Hop wants all the smoke. That's our 420 shirt right there. So if y'all want to support, go to heritagehiphop.com. Check out the merch tab. Check out our store at TeePublic and make sure y'all add in, you know? Salute to everybody in their 420 merch and everything going on. But today, I have something special for y'all today. See, whenever we talk about hip hop, whenever we talk about music, whenever we talk about community, it seems the ladies are always left out. Shame on y'all for forgetting the fact that if it wasn't for the ladies, a lot of what you call style, swag, drip, whatever, you would have never had. Some of y'all wouldn't even know how dope it is to get a haircut to impress a fly young lady or even have that divine feminine energy come into your life and elevate your style. Let me tell you something. Today we have a woman that not only creates beats, she produces the atmosphere with the music that she creates. And not only do I have an MC who by far would give you not only her best, she's going to talk to you in a way where if you don't understand, then you miss the point of what good music is. And that's to deliver a message. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, representing Six Man Entertainment and my boy, my man, the Bad Seed, shout out to Brooklyn, we have Murdamegz and Honey Dinero. What's up, ladies? How y'all doing tonight?
Yo, peace. What up?
Good. How are you?
I don't know. I'm nervous. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, yo. I'm not, because you know what? There's certain people who, when you hear their music, you have the advantage of getting in tune with them. And Murdamegz, you're the first woman who produced beats that I really got to interview on this channel. So thank you for being the first, if not one of the best. And Honey Dinero, you know what I love about women who do music? Ever since I was a little boy, when girls were singing or women were singing rap, I had crushes on them because I got to see a woman without restraint. She was able to be her artistic or authentic self. And that's the key to why I love music, is because we get authenticity. So let's start the interview off with both ladies, if y'all don't mind. What made you love music and what made you want to produce music?
For me, I think it was a family thing. Music was always blasting in my house, my grandmother's house, my uncle's house, my grandfather's house. Just music. I was always in and around music, and it was always blasting. And then I think it's in my DNA. I have musicians in the family that go back to the swing era. So very prominent musicians. So I think it's in my DNA. So it was only right that I love it. I fall in love with it. And it's been the soundtrack to my life.
Megs, what about you?
Musical household. Of course, my father, he was DJing, making beats. He's from the Bronx, number one. Of course, going out to like the park jams at the park and stuff like that. Like in River Park Towers and stuff. And my mother on the other side, she was just this contemporary. She loved, her music as well, and drink a little wine and stuff like that. And that's what that's what I miss about her. My dad, he had collected a lot of records and reggae, R&B. Oh my goodness, it's just like a stack, just like stacks of records of different, types of music, genre. But he was a big reggae fan, you know. But yeah, just he make beats and stuff like that. He collected some equipment here and there, pieces of equipment. He would take them back and get new pieces if he's not satisfied. He would but he loved his SP-1200. He loved his SP-12. That's one of the pieces that he came across. And we would go to Sam Ash, recipe Sam Ash. We don't have that no more. We would just go, he would just get, like keyboards, like sampling keyboards and stuff like that. And he would get like rack systems with like knobs. He would get like the one with the regular knobs, sliders, and Tascam and Fostex. He would carry all kind of things, and I got it. And as soon as we moved to PA, he had still carried those things with him. And yeah, I caught that bug.
Yo, y'all don't understand what she just talked about. That's for y'all people that know that good engineering and electrical talk. I love it. But y'all said something very interesting. Family. Would I know anyone in y'all family? Like, who is in your family that brought you into this life? Don't hide your bloodline. Let's talk about it now. Let's get into it.
So my cousin is Bobby J. He was part of the Latins doo-wop group. My granduncle, God bless the dead, is the great Gil Askey, jazz musician. He composed for Lady Sings the Blues. My aunt was married to Kenny Burke. My cousin, oh gosh, I can't even. He's been in and around music, toured with Sons of Man. He knows every member of Wu-Tang you can think of. But also he dated Rage at one time. He's real good friends with Ice-T. So it's just one of my best friends is Taro Hicks. We grew up in the Bronx together. It's probably more. It's probably more. I mean, I have cousins who do music. My aunt was a gospel singer. And then you have
That's
me.
Beautiful. No, don't say it like that. And then there became you.
And there became me. Correct.
That's right. I love that because when you say this, and that's when we have the world isn't blessed enough to have, but it's blessed enough to experience.
True.
So you are an experience for the world. And I thank you for today's opportunity. I'm happy. Look, I can't wait. I was ready for you. Megs, what about you? Well, DJ?
On my mother's side, of course, church. My grandmothers and my great grandmothers and stuff like that. Of course, my mother's side of the family, they had, I guess, came up with a group with some, friends right across the way, and they had made this song called Gangsta Boy. And it was a record out there. It's this, and I have the record too. And I said, wow, the people that's close to me that made this song, and the record, it's at home. And I'm amazed. But like I said, on my dad's side, where hip hop started, at the Bronx, park jams. That's pretty much it. As far as like my bloodline, I really don't have, not everything, but yep, that's it.
I love that because you know what's something. Shout out to everybody in the chat. The chat's talking. Shout out to Joe. Shout out to Bad Seed, the Hello Effect Podcast, Burt McGirt. Shout out to everybody out there. All my Instagram family, make sure you come to YouTube because we're going to cut this off halfway. Y'all don't get the full interview. You go to YouTube. But family is very important for making an identity. And music has been the medicine that has given people an ability to find their purpose and the ability to have their voices heard. What's the most important message music gave you about yourself that made you want to put it into your music and your beats? Megs, you go first.
3 days ago, I saw her clothing.
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna let Honey Dinero answer that real quick.
I think for me, it allowed me to express myself. I grew up as the only child, and especially in a West Indian household, you didn't talk about this, you didn't expose that, you didn't disclose this. And I have had a lot of traumas early. And so, and then I went, I don't want to say crazy, and I was wild for a moment. I was in the streets heavy, and I had to have an outlet, and music was always my go-to for expression, but also to get away with what I was dealing with. But then the flip side is there are songs that I know exactly where I was at the time that I either heard it, experienced it, or just in the middle of something and a particular song was on. I could tell you exactly where I was when I heard certain songs. So it's been my cushion. It's been my best friend. It's been as cliche as it sounds, and I say this a lot, twice it saved my life. So.
Okay. Megs, you got something to follow up behind that or nah?
The same thing. I'm sorry, because I had a phone call. Plus, like I said, I'm at work, so of course I'm trying to juggle it and stuff like that. But mostly about expression. Same thing with her. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Just expressing, and that's pretty much it from there.
Expression is the key to not only how we connect to God. It also tells us about our own individual voices. Now, Honey Dinero says she has some of a West Indian background. I kind of picked up on that. I picked up on that by how you use certain words. You have a voice that reminds me of like Mitchie Me. Shout out to Canada in that West Indian sound. The reason why I say that is because it's a clarity. Even when you go into your raspy side, there's a clarity that comes from strength, not from projection. Because your projection is, I need to be loud, but strength is, this is who I am, and it's in your core. And I believe to be a well-rounded or good MC, not a rapper, you have to have strong words and you have to be believable. What is the most believable part about Honey Dinero that makes me want, or that you give to the world to make them want to know more about you through your music?
Forget what they say about me, or forget what I may say about myself. If you listen to my music, you'll get exactly what you need of me from my music. So, I could sit here all day and be like, yo, I'm the best chef. I'm the best this. I do this. I'm from, the West Indies, or my family's from the West Indies. I could say all of this, but if you only heard about me and then met me and I never said anything to you, but then you listen to my music, you would know exactly who I am. I don't hold back with it in my music. I put it all out there.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's build on what they said. Let's build as the part of the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast where the guests say something so provocative that we have to stay on what they said to show y'all not only how dope they are, but to show you how incredibly intelligent they are and why you should listen to their music. One thing I love about what you said is when they meet you, because music is the meeting of the heart, the body, the mind, and the soul. And you are a conduit to show God's glory by giving the world a message that reflects not only your life, but it makes your life relatable to the person who's listening to you. So I want to go to Megz first on this, and then Honey Dinero, please pick this up.
Okay.
Relatability comes through expression, right? And most people express their pain and their joy through rhythm. What is the most important part of the rhythm that you use to make people understand who you are?
Sometimes you have to.
Sorry about that. Just coming from the East Coast, being in Pennsylvania, of course, learning about like different styles and expressing them because here it's just it's the way I express it is just through my beats, through boom bap, my beats, and I'm always carry that with me, no matter where I go, and it's not a lot that I could say about that. It's like I said, I just respect, I'll just lay it out and show you more than I can tell you, So, yeah.
All right, Dinero, pick it up.
For me, instead of just making words rhyme, I like to give you a soundtrack. I like to give you motion picture music. And it stems from it just stems from things that I've experienced, I've witnessed. If it was a book, this would be that book, which I am working on, but 2 of them. But you're getting that in music, and so when I hear certain rhythms and heavy bass lines and drums, which is my biggest thing, bass lines and drums, and specifically, boom bap, it is the soundtrack to Honey Dinero. It's the soundtrack to a time, 90s and the 2000s, and I mean even now, even more recently with what's been going on with me, it's just extremely important to me to come across where my voice and the words are an instrument along with the drums and the bass lines.
But one thing that people sleep on when it comes to music is the spirit. Music is a language that comes from the ether, through your mind, through your heart, and out your mouth, or Megz, through your hands. They called you Terminator Megz on here. Shout out to Terminator X because he talked with his hands. They say Megz talks with her hands. But see, that's where I'm trying to get to, because y'all have superpowers that the average person does not understand enough to appreciate it, because music is such a commodity now. They just take music and just throw it away. But it takes time to make those hats and those beats and everything come together with those drums and those patterns. It takes time to be, unfortunately for a lot of people that don't, that's why this shit is trash right now. But it takes a lot of time to put a pen to a piece of paper and make the ink translate what's in your heart and in your mind to the ears of a person who's outside of your experience. What I want to ask you is about the soul. Because I just say Miss Dinero out of respect for you. I seen you perform. And you're not there just doing this, hoping to catch somebody's ear. You are into what you're doing, so you're projecting your soul. Megz, I seen you make a beat. So I seen you do this and bob your head and make sure that you had timing with your drums and that you were hitting the right kicks. What is the soul, and how do you translate the soul in your art? Honey Dinero, you go first.
I think it's natural. I don't, it's not, when I do a show, I don't be like, oh, I'm going to kill it. I do it because I want to be heard. I want you to hear what I'm saying. I want you to feel how I'm coming across on records. I specifically when starting out, I specifically said I wanted the hardest of the hardest of beats, because I knew upon, you know, when someone sees you at first, oh, they think you're going to sing, or they think you're going to be soft, and, you know, and I felt like the music had to be heard first to get the attention. And then it would be, oh, I wonder what she's going to do with that. And then the first 4 bars, oh, now I got you. And so now you're in the same trance that of energy that I put out, and now you're caught up in a positive way. You're caught up in story time. You know, what did my 6 to 10, 15 minutes, you're caught in my story time. And so, and it sticks with you. It's not something be like, oh, you know, I heard this girl rap today, and then you brush it off, and, you know, oh, they come a dime a dozen. No, it sticks with you. So the music it wraps you in. The aura of the music wraps you in, and then the voice, and then the energy. And so now we're all in this cosmic ball of just hip hop. And it's not something that, it's not a premeditated thought. It's just my soul. That's the best way that I can fully express, fully be myself, and exist in this space, you know, for if it's 3 minutes on a track, or if it's 6 to 15 minutes on the stage.
Megs, how about you?
On the producer side, is whenever I make like beats, and, you know, whenever I do my beat sets and stuff like that, and when I go in, and I just want to show off. I want to show out, and I want to show people what I got, you know. And as far as like I said, being behind the boards, and, you know, giving beats to Honey Dinero. And you know what? He is right about something. He's right about something. I do come in, you know, last minute, fourth quarter, even though it's not intent. It's not. There's no intent of doing that. But whenever I send like beat packs and all the other stuff like that, it's light. You know, sometimes it's light, and I say, okay, maybe I need to go back to the drawing board and such and such. And whenever I send that second or third pack, you know, it's a go time. So like I said, whenever I make my beats, it's, you know, it's just, it comes natural. Everything comes natural to me, you know, when I look for that sample, and when I hear it, and when I chop it up, put those drums to it, everything got to be hard. Everything got to be, you know, go time for me, you know. But yeah. And like I said, everything comes natural. Everything is natural to me.
I like that, because, you know something, in today's society, we don't have a lot of church. We don't have a lot of soul. We don't have a lot of spirit. We have a lot of robotics, animatronics. Now we have artificial intelligence. And the thing that's most artificial about hip hop is people try to be something else without being your authentic self. What is the gift of self, and why is it important to you to share yourself and not share a representative of self when it comes to your art? Megs, you go first.
Okay, I'm sorry, because like I said, I'm at work and I'm keep getting disturbed. So I'm gonna let Henny go first on that. I gotta see what yeah.
So to know me on a intimate level, and intimate, I mean, like, you my dog, we talk every day. I know your children, you know, mine, you know, we're you know that I'm laid back, a comedian, soft spoken, you know, I'm just real chill. Music, when I'm Honey Dinero, so I'm an Aries, right? And for Aries, you kind of have to back them up into a corner before they come out with their horns, right? And they come out full force. That's who Honey Dinero is. Honey Dinero is that ram. And so I want you to experience that strength where like I said, I've had early childhood trauma. It kind of made me reserved. Music has allowed me to be full blast me. With my experiences, like I said, I grew up in a West Indian household. You don't talk about this, you don't talk about that. When I was diagnosed with cancer, my mother was like, don't talk about it. And I'm like, no, I've been told that I need to share it all. I need to enlighten everyone, right? So music has allowed me to do just that. My experiences, the cancer, selling drugs, being not molested, but being sexually assaulted. Being an only child can be a hard thing, right? Having a father who was gay, and didn't bother, but then having a wonderful uncle who took me in and guided me like a daughter. So there are many layers that if I can't express it, and as an only child, you really can't. It's just you. Music has allowed me to be able to express that.
Okay, and well, music for me, it allowed me to I use that to travel, and just I get more social when I do music and stuff like that. Even though I work, I juggle, I go to school for medical assistant and all that other good stuff, But as far as like my music side, it allows me, and shout out to the Producers Corner. I got so many social outlets because of music. I get, like I said, I get to socialize and I get to show out and go to like beat battles and. It did a lot for me. If it wasn't for music, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here talking about it and expressing my history out to y'all. But yeah.
I want to apologize to both of y'all because today's society doesn't value women the way they were meant to be valued, especially in a capitalistic society. Because let me tell y'all the truth. In today's society, we now have separation as the key of survival. We have alpha man, beta man, sigma man, high value woman, baby mama, side chick, BBL. Shout out to the BBL belly button. Remember this? Backseat. We got all that stuff going on, right? But the art of a woman and the art of a man has been lost in the desecration of humanity. In our society, not American society, we didn't tell the women walk behind and take care of the children. The man led and the woman stood off to his side. Because where a man was straightforward, the woman looked for danger. Kings rule kingdoms, but queens have dominion. There's certain things. And I want to give a shout out to Bad Seed because one of the best MCs I met since doing Heritage Hip Hop, that's my guy. Because he had the forthwith, the humbleness and the humanity to see great talent and not to say, well, these are the females. He says, this is my team. This is my squad. And he gives y'all the soul, the ability to project your soul and your creativity. What does it mean to have somebody who recognizes you, but then lets you be you and not try to hinder you at the same time?
It's a blessing. Seed has been a blessing. Whereas, again, I remember when I decided that I wanted to go full-fledged artist, and this first label, Dope Label, those are still, people that I love to this day. We became friends and family. But when starting out, they were like, oh, I just want you to step to the side. You my superstar, just step to the side. And the other guys, God bless Shula. He's gone. He's not with us now, but God bless him. Soup Black. They got to perform. We were on tour with Digital Underground. They got to perform. We went to Impact Music Conference. They got to perform, and I'm just there looking pretty. I would go to my sessions and guys doing what guys do, you know, hanging out during my session, girls during my session, things like that, to where I just walked away with respect. I couldn't get any development there. And then again, another situation, same thing. More so over, I felt like just what I brought was being misused, right? And then Seed met Seed. We were gonna work on a record that he was producing, but not he wasn't to rap on. And I came with I called him. I was like, yo, I got my 16. What's up? And no one else came with theirs. Other people that were supposed to be on it, they didn't come with theirs. And he was like, yo, I think he appreciated that. He was like, what else you got? And I already had stuff that I was working on. And he was like, oh, what you doing with that? You putting that out? And I'm like, yeah. And it's been that way ever since. What you got? You got something, you ready to go? Let's go. Put it out, you know. And we featured on a lot of records together. And he never once was on some, well, I'm the bad seed and you got to stand behind me, or I went around the world twice, and he's dismissive of the work that I've done. So completely opposite of other situations. And I say he's a blessing because, again, I could be like, yo, I got something I want to put out right now. If it makes sense as far as the schedule of everybody else, let's go. He doesn't try to pull back. And he's very protective, extremely protective. So if it comes down to it, he's ready. That he's every bit of that blue nose. He's ready. So it's been a great experience. A 6-man. He's he's been supportive. He's been a great supporter. And he's a fan.
Why wouldn't he be? Why wouldn't he be? Megs, you want to jump in? You got time? Or
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of Seed, I want to say something. Speaking about Seed, he's everything to me. He's everything to me. He's, just the like some days ago, I don't want to get into it. With Seed and Joe, that shout out to her. He's a big protector. He is a protector. I love him for that. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here talking. All the placements that he gave me, and the chance that one chance, that was it. That was it. That one chance, and it took off. But that's pretty much what I want to say. I thought, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here.
Well, shout out to C, shout out to Joe, because I see C go off with somebody on live over you. I saw that. I was like, God damn, this man going crazy. But you know what? Not going into what that is about, it's good to have somebody have your back like that, though. Mm-hmm. Because one thing I learned about the music industry, more than anything else, people would treat you like a commodity, and as long as they can use you, you're the greatest thing in the world. And as soon as somebody can't use you, you ain't shit to them. Mm-hmm. But on Heritage Hip Hop, we're gonna let y'all know Murdamegz is the shit. Because her beats are nice. I've been trying to get her to do some stuff in Jersey for a while. See, don't yell at me. I just want to get her more exposure, I promise. And Honey Dinero, since the first time I seen you perform, I fell for you. Because one thing I can tell you about when I say fall for you is I respect you. You're not just an artist. You are an artist. You're not just somebody who up there talking. Because most of the people sound like they reading Dr. Seuss books. Or they talk about how they ass is fat. or they talking about how much money they really don't have, but they want somebody to give them. With you, you give me a story, you give me a canvas, you give me something to look forward to, and I listen to the words, because at the end of the day, if it wasn't for the words, we would not know how dope a woman is. From the I Love Yous to even the hip hop with the Love Is Blinds, or even the Rod Diggers and the Tights and the Ty Phoenixes and the Glow. Honey Dinero has something to say, and if you don't pay attention, not only do you lose the point of the story, you lose the point of yourself, because you can learn something from good music. Do y'all agree?
Agreed.
All right, and with that being said, y'all, we got to the half point of the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast. So, ladies, how y'all feel so far before we ramp it up and get busy?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
All right. Well, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to our first break. Make sure you stay tuned. Instagram, come to YouTube, because now we're about to ramp up and talk about the music, not just who they are. So we'll be back right after this.
Where you get your hip hop from? Yeah. What's up? This Tribal Trigger Trench in the building. You already know. Nip, naughty.
Hey, Redman is in the building, of course. Jersey's finest, all about them bars, marijuana smoker. Hey, PSA announcement. I need everybody go support. That's right, support my fucking state, my city. Heritage Hip Hop, a New Jersey media source that celebrates New Jersey hip hop worldwide. Facts. Please subscribe to Heritage Hip Hop on social media. That is Heritage Hip Hop on social media.
What up, y'all, man? It's your boy Do It All, Dupre Kelly, right here on Heritage Hip Hop, man. Look, man, let me tell you something. Make sure you support Heritage Hip Hop, because without these brothers bringing you hip hop, we're not gonna stay informed, man, the way that we need to stay informed, man. And they're not just giving you hip hop, man. They're giving you the heritage of hip hop right here, man. Yo, Karev, I see you. Heritage Hip Hop, man. Let's do it. It ain't nothing like Heritage Hip Hop.
I don't know about y'all, but I love bopping to my own shit. I don't
Yeah,
have to
I was
ask
bopping.
nobody for nothing. I can bop to my own. Shout out to everybody watching us on YouTube now as we cut off the Instagram. Bye-bye, Instagram family. Join us on YouTube. All right, so I've been doing some homework on y'all, and I wanted to give y'all an interview that's respectable and reflective of how dope y'all are. Because I could always say, well, what made you start rapping? Who's your favorite MC? Yeah, we can do that later. I want to go into your work. I'm going to focus on Honey Dinero first, and Megs, I'm going to follow up with you, and we're going to go into the collaborative project after all that. So first, said Honey be writing Dr. Seuss books, though. Don't let her fool you. Like, yo, you funny. Y'all funny, yo.
I write all his raps too, so he put that up there.
Here we go. So here we go, y'all. Let's talk about some of your past work, because one thing about your style, I realized that when you first rhyme, you're rhyming to prove a point, but then as you find your style, you're rhyming to say what your point. Am I correct, Honey Dinero?
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell me about The Bronx is Burning Part 2.
So the Bronx is Burning Part 2 was a freestyle, and it came around the time that I had put all this work into this group over here, and I just remember being told that they didn't care that I had worked with all these platinum producers, producers with Grammys. They didn't care that I toured overseas. They didn't care that I had an overseas demographic. Basically, they tried to minimize me to nothing, to just like I should be happy that I was allowed to rock over there, right? So I said, okay, I could show you better than I could tell you. And what became what was a freestyle became sort of an anthem for me. Let me show you exactly who I am. Let me show you how I give it up. Lyrically, on the stage, and in person if it has to go that way. We shot the video, and just who I said I was as far as an artist, or even personally, it was conveyed through that record, and it just proved, it gave it not that my confidence was taken away, but it was like, damn, you know, it didn't even have to go that route. It was just a split. It was just, I'm over here, I'm better over here, you keep doing the funky stuff that you're doing, and that's it. But it re-solidified the work that I had put in and who I was, and it allowed me to see that I really had followers. I really had, not followers, but I really had people who rocked with me. I don't really like the term followers, but I really had people who rocked with me as an artist.
So then what holds more weight, the lipstick or the bullet?
Whoo! Well, okay. That kiss could
know what that is. That's an album. Sorry.
That kiss could come with a lot. And again, right? Same scenario. If The Bronx is Burning led into Lipstick and Bullets, and Lipstick and Bullets, I was already writing as an album, but it was on the back end. So when I left that situation over there, we went full clip with Lipstick and Bullets. And I've always liked oxymoron, so I always liked Quiet Storm, and I thought, what better than Lipstick and Bullets? That kiss can come with a lot. It could be sweet, or it could be even sweet on the other side of that bullet, right? So we pulled the trigger on that, and it was a true testament to my writing. It was a true testament to Honey Dinero. It was a true testament to just real street. I wasn't, you know, I'm not a strip club culture. That's not my thing. You could keep it sexy. You could be sexy, but you could be street at the same time.
All right. So see, when I think about your growth, right, and what you said kind of inspired you, even how you put your albums together has changed in due time. And I don't call it experience. I call it pruning your tree, because now you know what your sound is or what works for you, right? Mm-hmm. Please tell me about Shit Sweet Part 1 and Part 2 on 12, and how that's different from Shit Sweet on the Lipstick and Bullets album.
So Shit Sweet Part 1 was on Lipstick and Bullets. Shit Sweet Part 2 is on Pink Honey. Of course, you know, people think shit sweet. So that was the mantra for the first one with that situation. But then when I did Part 2, it was because I was trying to get people, like I was the only girl rapping at these events. And someone recently told me, you rap with the niggas, because there aren't any other females that are like on these street dudes. And I don't want to say street, but like these heavy boom bap street theme records, or in these clubs performing. And I tried to get people to come, you know, other MCs that I knew, female MCs I knew, come perform here. It's cool. It's all right. You know, do you know, try to encourage them. And then I went to do my cancer treatment in Tennessee, which hurt me because I was on tour. I was making moves. I was doing the web series. And then my mom was scared to death. First time ever I've seen her scared. So I went down there so I could do my treatment. Best decision ever, saved my life. And I'm seeing New York. I'm seeing everything happening in New York. And I'm like, bitches is outside. Like, what's up? Like, I tried to get them to come out when I was out. Like, you know, and on some positive, like, I don't have any ill will, you know, with anyone. So I was like, oh, this is what they want to do. Okay. And I was writing a Pink Honey, and I just had to do part 2. It just, like, you know, you have Redman in promo. Shout out to Redman. You know, the whole Jersey. It reminded me of Superman Lover, his Superman Lover records, how he had the part, you know, the different parts to it. And I think always people sometimes get comfortable, or they think they're familiar to you, and Shit Sweet is reminded that it's not.
I love how you put that together, because you always have to make statements to let the world know who you are. What kind of statement did you make telling the world you're a Titan, though?
Oh, well, see, this is what happened, right? C was like, yo, I got this producer, and we did Bake Sale first. And he was like, and he didn't say I got this dope female producer. He was just like, yo, I got this producer. They're dope. And Megs, you know, she came into the fold, and it was natural. It felt good. It wasn't forced. She wasn't punch drunk, you know, with it being a bad seed or Honey Dinero, or just the situation of 6-man. She just came in, and she came in strong and with a force, like, yo, I got a pack for you. And she sent Titan over. And when I heard it, it had the drums, it had the bass line, and she didn't know what I liked. It was just the energy just was there, and it matched. And so Titan was the title because you had such a big sound with the record, with the record without the vocals, that I had to match Megs. And when I wrote it, I was like, yeah, this is it. And then recorded, I was like, oh, I'm killing the delivery on this. And Titan it just fit. It just really fit.
So that segues me perfectly to Murdamegz. Because Megs, you have been putting in an incredible amount of work with different artists. I'm a fan of your drums, but I'm also a fan of your cadences in your music too. Because there's a certain time when, for people who don't understand, when the beat recycles, it hits a certain mark where if the MC knows what they're doing, it guides them through the rhyme. It's not just them rhyming to catch the beat. I want to ask you this question, Meg. How do you find the sound necessary for the artist, or are you producing from your heart and they're connecting with your beats when they make their music?
I just, just make the beat. I don't overthink anything. I just, either I'll like find the drums or find a sample, or find the drums and just put it together, send a, make a pack, or just send that beat out, and, I just go whatever I, by the heart, and just make the beat, and then just see what they think, like I said, I don't overthink anything. I just make it. And I just send it out. And then, of course, I got it. And you know what? I want to speak a little bit on that Titans. I sent it because I was going to school at the time. And I was flying over to Connecticut. I landed in Baltimore. And she had hit me up. She said, yo, you got, I made something. And I was like, okay, cool. And she had something just like that. So that's a dope record. I love it. That's one of my favorite records. First records that we did finally. But yeah, like I said, I just make anything and just send it out, and then let the artist do their thing on it.
Yeah, Megs has great instinct. Like, again, I didn't have to say I like heavy bass lines or heavy drums, and like you mentioned the cadence. It wasn't, like I've been told my flow was unorthodox, or as someone said, I have these slight speed pitches where you think I'm gonna fall off the beat, but I don't. It's like right there. And I pride myself on that because it just makes me unique. But I did not have to say, no, this is not working, Megs. You need to beef up the drums, or you need to do this. She has incredible instinct, even into the more records we did. She just, again, here you go. And I never have to be like, nah, that ain't working. She has great instincts.
Megs, boom bap is the heart and the language of the culture from its inception. And you creating the boom bap sound, I want to ask you, is that the sound that closest reflects your creativity, or have you ventured off into doing other types of beats? And what made you adapt boom bap first?
Me coming from, me being born and raised in New York, and I tried to do other sounds like trap and drill, just to get the feel of it. That just, it wasn't, in me it just wasn't, for me. I just stuck with boom bap because, like I said, just being where I'm from and just carrying that on. And just hearing these things about, oh, well, boom bap is dead, hip hop is dead, and such and such. No, it's not. No, it's not. It may be, it's not in that's not really in the business, for them, the business decisions anymore. Or, like I said, I carried that. I just carried that on, and I just stuck with it. And like I said, it's just, yeah.
Hey, Megs, I love your accent. Let you know that from the door, yo. You don't speak much, do you, Meg?
Not really. I just speak to my beats. I just speak to my beats.
I love your language, though.
Until we hang out and have had a couple of drinks,
then it comes.
Get a real good like Jones going, like just straight laughter. Megs she'll surprise you.
Megs, I'm telling you, you speak a language that's very authentic. So I wanna focus on that. All right, I'm gonna give y'all both a scenario, and you tell me what you think. But I want you to tell me if I'm full of shit, if I'm being real. All right. All right. So with Honey Dinero, I know you can rhyme. There's an R&B side to you that you haven't touched yet, though. I don't mean I need to hear you singing. You don't got to become Anita Baker or nothing like that. No. But there was a time when R&B and hip hop were two different stepchildren that hated each other. But it wasn't until they came together that we got some of the most beautiful music that grew the art. Bad Seed said that Megs is the primary 6-man sound. Like Megs got it on lock. That is your sound. But I wonder, how as an artist, he called her Anita Baker. Wow. My question is, as an artist, when you find a producer that's that dope, how do you grow your art to find the other sides of your sound so you can bring it into the creativity and the creation of that dope music that you have?
We have a song called I Don't Care. I-O-N Care. I'm singing the hook. I'm singing, and it came out fire. Before rap, I sang in a choir for 12 years. Now I'm out of practice, so don't ask me to belt anything out. I mean, you might, Mary J, come on, I'll get in my groove and, do my thing, maybe a little pitchy, may miss a note or two, but we have a record called I Don't Care, and I'm singing the hook. So you'll get it. I've had records with R&B artists. I love R&B. I love soulful R&B. I love soulful records. I'm a big fan of the 70s. So music out of the 70s just moved me. When the record calls for it, You know, and like I said, Megs has great intuition. She, you know, if it calls for R&B, if we got to bring a singer in, or if I got to belt one out, one of my good friends is Terry Teray. She can sing a behind off. She's got 2 Grammys. She sang with John Legend and Common, and you know, she's from Chicago. She can blow. I'll pull her in. Let's go. You know, it's just when that record speaks to that nature.
That's amazing. Because that's the thing about, that's what makes y'all superheroes to me. Because not only are y'all creating something that came out of nowhere, I don't know where y'all get it from. As your sound develops, you have the audacity and the heart and the courage to put more of yourself out there, where people are scared to even say hello and save somebody's life through camaraderie. You give the world your spirit and it flows into something miraculous, something beautiful. Megs, my question for you off of that is this though. What's the most fulfilling beat you ever made, and who rhymed on it?
Ooh, that's a tough question, because let me see. Call It What You Want by Seed. Yeah, Call It What You Want by the Bad Seed. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Because it's a fourth quarter beat. That's why. It's a fourth quarter beat. And you know, it took off and stuff like that. I love it. I love the way the drums and the sample, the way I, you know, get that, you know, together and stuff like that. I like the sound. That's my sound. And yeah. I mean, I like many other sounds, other beats that I made, and you know, but that's just the one that's my number one. Yeah.
Hey, Megs, I love your accent. I'm trying to make you talk. I love your accent, Megs. Shout out to Bad C. He said Honey was humming on the end credits of Good Times.
Not Good Times.
Yo, I love 6 Man, yo. Y'all are the truth, yo. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. I swear, yo. Joe said Megs loves her fourth quarter magic, but she hasn't. I mean, do you just put out a project with Bad Seed? You know what I'm saying? You put out a project. What's the name? Oh man, I'm sorry.
From Us With Love. From Us With Love.
The one with Excel.
Oh yeah, the Caesar Project.
That man, look, I was. You know how you listen to something and then like the first time you listen to it, you're like, that's cool, that's good, and then you really start getting into it. You're like, yo, how I missed that? How I missed that? I got that from his lyrics and your beats. And Dinero, I'm gonna tell you the truth, yo. Hold on, let me go to my notes. There's one song I'm gonna ask you about that's really, really serious to me. No, it's not Woody Hutton. Shout out to the Martin reference.
That's my record too. I love Woody Hutton.
Where's it at?
I was working in Louisiana, and I was running from Hurricane Laura when that record came out. So I was living in a hotel for a minute. That's one of my favorite records.
Woody Hutton?
Mm-hmm.
There's Retribution. Okay, that's where it's a project, and that's where I heard your emotion really come out. And my thing is, what's more fulfilling, putting your pain out there to exercise it, or putting your love out there to see it grow? What's more fulfilling to you?
Ooh, that's a great question. I couldn't choose. They go hand in hand. Pain is love, love is pain. I could not be complete without both. I couldn't be experienced. I could not have lived to 50. I could not have beat cancer without both. And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. I'm just saying that. Yeah, I could not choose.
But love is relative and pain is universal. Life is also a classroom without walls. So it's hard as it is to go through the pain, you go into the pain to find your character.
Yes, I do.
And real love is the hardest shit in the world, ladies and gentlemen. If y'all don't know about real love, let me tell you something. It's nothing like carrying the burden for something or someone that you give your all to. Because when that shit work, it's the greatest feeling in the world. But when that shit don't work, it's a pain that you can never Music is the only thing that can help you work that bitch out. Pardon my language. Because it's nothing like listening to an old Michael Jackson song on some Never Can Say Goodbye. And then when you really listen to the lyrics, when you're going through some shit, it make you sit down and go, damn, that's where I'm at. And in certain hip hop, there's certain songs that you hear, you go, damn, that's where I'm at. As a doctor, Ms. Dinero, Dr. Dinero and Dr. Megz, as doctors, you are moving the soul of the generation and of the culture with every word and every beat. Is that a pressure that you have, or is that a burden that you take on with joy, knowing that you're giving the world what it needs to be healed and to be moved?
It's not a pressure. I wouldn't necessarily call it a burden. Yeah, I mean, I take it on. I embraced it a long time ago when, shout out to Maria Davis. Early on in my career, you performed at Maria Davis. Maria Davis was the spot. That was the spot to really test your craft. You know, everyone, a lot of your mainstream rappers went through her stage. And to go through a stage, you go on with your set, go with your set music. She'll cut it off in the middle of your set, and the band will start playing. And you better keep with the rhythm of your set, right? But she also had an older crowd. And one lady after a set, one lady walked up to me. She said, "I don't really like rap." She said, "But I felt you. I felt your energy. I felt your pain." And ever since then, I was like, that's what I have to put out. No matter how harsh, how brutal it sounds, that's what I have to put out, because that raw energy, that realness, that authentic, I can't even say the word, that authentic, put out my authentic self is going to be felt. And so it's a burden I gladly take on, but I wouldn't call it a burden. I mean, for me, it's not a burden. It's what I love to do. Whether it's one person, 15, a million, it's what I love to do. And I'm going to do it with my most authentic self. And I'm going to tell the story. And if you catch it, you catch it. If you don't, then, you know, don't make the mistake I made, or don't travel down that path that I did. It took me, I have a song called Long Kiss. It took me 3 years to write that song. And it came out of a breakup. It came out of pain. And I just didn't know how to deal with it. It wasn't until after I wrote the song that I was over that situation. I understood what it did to me. And I was clear and free of that burden, right? Of pain and hurt. So it's something that I gladly take on. Hopefully people get it and learn from what I went through, find a remedy from what I put out, and don't go down some of the same roads that I traveled. Just
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Go left, don't go right.
Salute. Meg's in her conversation. It's all good. No, it's all good. Are you busy?
No, it's okay.
Oh,
but
okay.
Well, nothing I do is it's not a burden. It's not a burden at all. I mean, it is what it is, and I love what I do. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. You know, I appreciate everything that I do. I put everything with just pressure. Everything is pressure, and I apply it.
Now, they say pressure bursts pipes, pressure makes diamonds. But remember, pressure is meant for the strong. Because if you could not handle it, God would have never gave it to you so you could show the world
Right.
how dope and incredible you are. So I
Right.
don't want to take away from that. But we got to talk about big gal talk. Because that right there set off a lot. And it was a visual that came out. Shout out to Pocket the Plug who had the video. But I want to talk about chemistry. Because, yeah, you can get a beat. And yeah, you can rhyme on a beat. But there's certain times when you can get a beat and you can create magic. How do you define your magic? And tell me about that song.
I trust Megs. When she sends something, I know it's fire. And specifically Big Yao Talk. I try to do one West Indian Caribbean record on an album. I speak some patois, I understand it, but I speak some patois. But I have to do one, at least one, and that was the record for me. And I wanted to showcase HDXMM. Seed was like, yo, y'all need to be a group. Y'all will be the first like female MC, female producer, on a whole, like together on a whole project. We tried to think if it's been done, and it hadn't been done. And so we have that charisma and that energy like a Primo and a Guru. And so what better flex than Big Gal Talk? So we talk with the beats, we talk with the rhymes, with two strong women. Megs, it's crazy because we do the same things without even knowing we're doing the same things. Like we're both currently in school at the same time. And working and and holding down households. And when I was down south, I would get on a plane and travel up here all the time, and Megs will get on a plane at any time and just travel to New York. So we're sisters without knowing that we have so much in common. And I think that's what you're hearing in the records. I wanted to showcase that Megs was here for Seed's video. So we was like, yo, let's just and then we were doing the Cool Table event, and let's just go ahead and shoot this. And what better way to showcase us and Big Gal Talk than that video, than the concept for that video. Had to tell Megs not to kill anybody because she's Murdamegz.
That was funny. Yeah, that was funny.
Murdamegz.
Megs, what is that magic for you as a producer to find an artist that you could work with that gets you and brings the best out of your music?
It depends on it just depends on what the artist, whenever I find that he just got to have that drum, that bop. It has to bring, something that I can, it's just something about that artist that wants make me want to work, with them. And sorry about that, but oh my goodness, I'm sorry, y'all, but because I'm kind of nervous.
I'm nervous. You're doing fine.
I'm so nervous about this. Plus, this work is just like disturbing me. The artist just got to bring something that I want, just bring something to me that makes me want to work with them, and we just get up and just get, it's go time for me. Okay, sorry about that.
I want to give y'all something from my heart, because y'all put something into the ether, and I want to check it out. I asked my AI, is there a female group that's one rapper and one producer. And actually, there is another group, right?
Yeah.
But they're not even from America. You are the first, y'all, backwards. Honey Dinero, the rapper known for her aggressive, unapologetic style, and Murdamegz, the producer, crafts hard-hitting beats with a southern hip hop influence. Sound about right to y'all?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know about the southern and maybe
I don't know about that.
But you don't really do 808s. I mean, it's boom bap. So,
but you know what's interesting? If the AI has it, that means y'all did something because somebody brought y'all up besides me. And it was already doing homework on who you are.
Okay.
So shout out to y'all. Shout out to Bad Seed. Shout out to 6 Man. Because not only y'all making history, y'all changing the computers out here. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to put that out there out of respect for y'all too, because what's the point of doing something if it's not being recognized? What's the point of putting something out if it's not being consumed the correct way? Y'all have HD XMM Lux at 1, right? Look, let me just ask y'all this. This is a very interesting project to me because it hits me two ways. And I don't mean lyrically and beats wise. It hits me two ways because one, it's set up like I'm listening to, like, it makes me feel like the old radio, 90s radio. It makes me feel like anything that comes on could start something. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Anything that comes on has a certain spirit to it where it could go anywhere. Like, I'm very big on New York One. I'm very big on Soul Assassins and Easy on them. I like the feel of those, right? So every song could take you somewhere, but then every song could ground you at the same time. What's better to you, and how do you define it? Is it better to be heard, or is it better to be listened to? And how do you want the people to take your music when they do either or?
That's a good question as far as like in regards to better to be heard or to be listened to. You're gonna get some that's just gonna hear you. And then you're gonna get some that are going to listen. So with Lux One, people have been listening. What was supposed to be, we put out in 23, we put out HDXMM. I didn't give it my full attention, and so in our old Megs that. So I wanted to do, I said, I asked her, I said, can you send me a couple of joints? we're gonna re-release HDXMM. We're gonna remaster it, and I'm gonna put some bonus cuts on it. So due to time, and I think our engineer was sick at the time, we had to find another engineer, and we had a March 26th deadline to put a release date, and I didn't want to push it back. So we couldn't do a full album. We couldn't get HDXMM remastered, too many records plus an additional 4. So what I did was, I came up with, and then HDXMM was supposed to be a deluxe album, right? So with the additional cuts. So because we couldn't do that, I said, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do an Act 1. And there was only 5 records. And so for it to sound full, I took the records from the original HDXMM and made it into radio skits, so that you'll get a glimpse of who HDXMM is through the radio skits. And so when you hear these other records that are sometimes one verse, or short, and I wanted the person to understand that this is just a part of a bigger picture, not just with this project. It's gonna continue on. HDXM is we're an official group. And now that we're number one, we're definitely, we're the only one. We're definitely an official group. So people are listening because they understand that, and they got the method to my madness, because it was like, how was I gonna make a full sound from 5 records and a couple of skits? And they got it. And just as you introduced it, it told me that you got it. So you're listening as others have listened and got it. Because, some people just hear it and they'll be like, oh, what is this radio shit? And they'll just get to a song or whatever and be like, oh yeah, I like that song, and then keep it pushing. People are listening because they're understanding the concept of Act 1 and excited for Act 2.
Meg, you want to follow up?
Yes. Of course, about the remaster. What I did, well, of course, me and Honey, we had talked, and I said, you know what? Well, as far as like adding different, like more tracks and more beats on, basically like a continuous into the deluxe. I gave her some more beats, and she liked the first batch that I gave her. And I said, you know what? I'll just go back and remix and remaster some of the tracks that we did, so that way we could come out with a cleaner version of what we did in 2023. And yeah, and the first song that we put out as far as like the continuous for the deluxe is the Soul Assassins. And it took off. The reception was pretty good, and I was proud of that. And Easy on Them was another track that we did, and yeah, I like their concept, and I like the way she put everything together. And Act 2 is on the way as well, and we were still working on that. And yeah, yep.
Well, don't rob the world of your creative, because the radio skits actually made it different than everything else that's out.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate that, because how many people send me their music and I'm like this the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you want to get something different that make you go, all right, that's what's up. All right, it's refreshing to hear. It's refreshing to hear somebody making something that's tangible, not just consumable. And I like that a lot. Thank y'all for putting greatness out and not just putting bullshit out. I'm really happy with that.
I also wanted, so because we're still being discovered, so to speak, or people are just, well, what is this HDXMM? I wanted that to be like, oh, well, I need to go back and listen. And because I dropped the ball with the first album, I'm hoping people will go back to listen, because there's some great records on there. She sent me 8 records. I recorded to all 8 records. And so, like I said, the song that I'm singing on, I Don't Care, is on that HDXMM, the first one. So I wanted those skits to be like, well, where are these records? And hopefully they'll go back and listen to that. So
no, you did that with me, at least. Like I said, I was very happy with that, because one thing that people do when they take women for granted, they will focus on how you look and not on what you say.
Yeah.
And like I said, one thing I will tell y'all for sure with hip hop, when you find somebody worth listening to, sit with what they do and respect it by getting into what they're saying. Don't just do this all day. Yeah. Master Killer said the deaf and the dumb are intrigued by the drum, which means people are just gonna nod their head. But when you really listen and you take the time to appreciate the rhymes, the beats, and the delivery, not only do you get magic, you get HDXMM. So go to Bandcamp, make sure you look up Honey Dinero, check out her projects. There's a music worth listening to. And once again, y'all, I am the Tangible 2. He called y'all the Tangible 2. That's funny. I'm very gracious for the fact that you let me have your time and interview you tonight. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
But it's not over yet. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast tonight. I hope that we did a great job and y'all know who Honey Dinero is and who Murdamegz is. If y'all don't know, I'm going to tell you who they are. Honey Dinero is an MC that you got to watch for because she has a delivery that you really got to pay attention to, because when you get it, you appreciate it and you got it. And Murdamegz has, I don't know how to describe Murdamegz. Her beats are some of the most refreshing boom bap sounds you've heard or you will hear in a long time. Because when everybody, including Fat Joe, no disrespect, said boom bap is dead, they ain't hear her yet. She got some beats, y'all. I'm telling you.
Right.
These are both two incredible artists. And before we go to the last part of our interview, I have something called Stand on Your Square. Y'all get a minute, 30 seconds apiece. Tell them who you are, why they should mess with your music. Tell them where to find you and how they can get that music.
I'm Honey Dinero, official Honey Dinero, the official Honey Dinero. I am raw. I am unapologetic, and I'm fire. I'm fire.
Megs, talk your shit.
I'm Murdamegz, and I bring the grime and the boom bap. Yes.
And she brings real hip hop heads out to the Secret Pour. So make sure y'all in Brooklyn, check out the Secret Pour whenever it's out there. Shout out to the Bad Seed for putting those shows together. I got to meet my peoples. Eat a Mad Assassin. I met Bernadette Price. I met a whole bunch of people. I met Joe, and guess what? I met them. They don't even remember me from being there, but I remember them though. Megs was making beats, and Honey Dinero's out there just. And I'm in love, like, oh my God, this is great. You know what I'm saying? So I was enjoying myself. See, thank you for that, and I appreciate you. Yeah. Yo. Bad C say he cleans Honey's glasses weekly. This dude is sick, yo. So we got May 3rd. Murdamegz is doing a beat set in Queens. All right, that's cool. Want to talk about it a little bit? Want to talk about it?
Yep. May 3rd, I'll be flying out. For the real Nutso, of course, Nutso and Tamal. Shout out to Tamal for carrying the culture, and I'll be doing my beat set out there with the rest of the producers. Yes.
We need to get you a jersey so you can do this 8 Squad Rebel Radio battle. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get you. We have to get y'all. See, I want you to yell at me. I'm asking. I want to get Murdamegz on Truth Behind Beats. That's Heritage Hip Hop's appreciation of the producer, and we want to put some money in your pocket. We don't want you just make a beat and then we want to pay people for doing things. We want to get people. We want to get you that appreciation. I don't believe you should be streamed only. I think you should get paid for what you do, because y'all are very good. Y'all are very good at what y'all do, and I support y'all for real. But ladies and gentlemen, we got to the last part of this interview. I can't even tell I'm nervous. I'm a little nervous tonight. I got 2 powerhouse ladies. You gotta get on. You gotta be on your shit. You gotta be right. But we got the rapid fire questions coming up, and the rapid fire questions are not yes no questions. These are questions designed to show your knowledge of the art, what you do, and appreciation of who you are, what you do when it comes to hip hop music and yourself. Y'all ready to go?
Yes.
All right, let's get it. Megs, you start off. Honey Dinero, you finish it off. Every question. First question: what song or album from another artist perfectly describes you?
Ooh, it's a whole lot of them. I mean, like what specific, like any genre or like a year or something like that, or
that's up to you.
Ooh. Gangstar.
What? Which one? Moment of Truth?
Moment of Truth. That's my favorite era. 98, year 98.
I knew it. Dinero, how about you?
I got many others like PM Dawn and Thanks to My Mom, and it's just so many, but that's the first thing that came into my head was Gangstar, Moment of Truth.
That's who you are. Hey,
my era.
What's up? And I knew it. Yeah. All right, Dinero, how about you?
Nas' first album.
Illmatic. Okay. That's deep. Okay. That's very strong. So then, Megs, start from you, go to Dinero. What's the perfect hip hop beat? Meaning you would have made it, and Dinero, it would have been your first single if you had the beat to yourself.
Ooh. Hard Knock Life, produced by, of course, that's Jay-Z, but of course, Mark 45 King, rest in peace to him. Yep.
Dinero?
So I mean, first thing came to mind was Nas. I have a brain fart now. It's my favorite Nas song record. Off the Illmatic album. I ran like a cheetah with thoughts of an assassin. Can't think of the name of it now.
Talk about New York State of Mind.
Thank you. I have brain farts. You have to forgive me. My brain shuts down at times.
She gonna pick Nas every
I'm not. I mean, because then my number 2 would be KRS-One, would be Criminal Minded. So
why I got the feeling you a pretty bully? Like you just gonna fuck me up. like you gonna look nice and every day, and then you gonna just smack me in the back of the head.
No, I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't do that.
Criminal Minded in New York State of Mind. I'm supposed to be like, oh, she's pretty. You got that left jab aura. All right, I got you. All right. This is for Murdamegz. Producer-wise, what's the best produced album out of these two? Stevie Wonder, Songs on the Key of Life, Marvin Gaye, what's going on?
Marvin Gaye, what's going on? Because
Why?
It reminds me of my uncle. It reminds me of my uncle because he think he Marvin Gaye did, so he was Marvin Gaye everything. Recipes, like it's a recipe to my uncle. He had, of course, I got Trouble Man. What else? Oh my goodness! But yeah, what's going on? That's one of my favorite albums. Yeah.
Okay. Honey Dinero, MC question for you. You represent the BX, right? You're from the Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
What album represents the Bronx to the point where if anybody asks someone what and how do you define the Bronx, you give them that one album?
Nas. No, I'm kidding. I only said that because
hey yo, this is amazing. He laughing.
I would have to say, I want to say Me, but
Yeah, say it.
yeah,
No, you, which one?
yeah, I want to say Me. I want to say, Retribution.
Okay,
Yeah,
I respect that.
yeah,
That's a good one. I respect that. I do.
yeah.
The most beautiful story ever written is the one you tell, not the one you read. So you picking your own album is beautiful. And most people don't stand up for themselves. They always pick somebody else. So I give you credit for that. I give you respect for that as well. Let's go to Megz to give Megz a question in particular. Meg, what's the most important instrument in hip hop and why?
Oh my God. The MPC 60, Roger Lynn. Why? Of course, DJ Premier used it. Who else? That's pretty much. Well, let me see. I'm pretty sure there's other ones. Of course. Oh my God, who else used it? I should have said the SP 1200. To be honest with you, I should have said that. I should have said that. That's the most used because MF Doom used it. Of course, recipes to him. Pete Rock used it, of course, with CL Smooth, the main ingredient, one of the albums. Madlib used it. He used it for Mad Villain. And oh my God, who else used it? There's plenty of people that used it, but that's one of the best, one of the most pieces everybody, as far as that's one of the golden pieces in hip hop is the SP 1200.
Okay, so yo, Bad Seed is going off over here, yo. Billy is her favorite movie. Go ahead, ask her. Yo, T, let's go to Africa. Yo, Seed is crazy. Shout out to Seed, yo. Dinero, same question. What's the most important instrument in hip hop to you?
The most important instrument in hip hop to me is, are speakers an instrument?
You tell me if they are. And why would you say that? You define it.
Because you gotta hear everything. Like, I grew up with Bashment speakers in my house, and it didn't matter if my mom was playing Luther, Prince. It didn't matter. CD, album. Even now with digital music, without the speakers, you don't hear anything.
I respect that. Yo, see, he said you was about to say the triangle.
The triangle?
Not the triangle.
Yeah,
Cowbell.
that's what I like about y'all. Because one thing about the six man, y'all have a nice y'all have nice camaraderie about y'all, and that's dope. Megs, what's the best thing about being in a conglomerate of music and not just a group of people who make music?
Family. Just being, just is what we call a family, six functional. That's one word. But it's all love. It's our family.
That's beautiful. Dinero, how about you?
Say the question one more time. Sorry.
What's the best part about being in a music conglomerate and not with a group who just does music together?
Yeah, I would have to say family. We are truly supportive, not just regarding music, but outside in with life. Like, we crack jokes on each other all day. We'll shed a tear for each other. We take care of one another. And I feel like if there was money involved, it would still be the same. Or else I'd crack everybody upside their head. I'd get them straight real quick. And I think it would be respected.
See, that's what I said earlier. You said no. See, that's what I said. Now you
But
get
no,
it.
I say that to say, because money will change the dynamic of a lot. And but we have built something strong that we also hold each other accountable. And no one has a problem with being accountable for their actions or lack thereof, right? So if I'm like, yo, Megs, you were supposed to send that record, and she'd be like, oh, my bad, I know I was supposed to send that record, I'm gonna send it now. Then it's no hard feelings. She knows I'm coming from a positive place. It's not a place of hate. It's not like you got more airtime. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like that. So when I say, and if money comes involved and anybody acts different, I would definitely set them straight real quick. Like, get your shit together. This is not that. We're not going to be them, and it would come from a genuine place and not just the change that money does for people.
Hey, salute to y'all.
Sorry.
4 questions and then we're going to take it on out of here.
Okay.
The world is changing in front of us. Look at the Trump administration. Look at inflation. Look at people. We had jokes on the internet where people was buying haircuts with eggs. Eggs are so expensive. We have people out here really on their asses, and people are still rapping about murder. People are still rapping about flashing lots of money. Do you think music has a responsibility to talk about the world at large, society at large? And if it does to you, how does your music prep the world for what it's going through since it heals?
So I've been thinking about that a lot. I think I just watched Alto Nights with Robert De Niro, right? I love gangster movies. I love action movies. I watch the warfare. I love action movies, either that or sci-fi, right? It allows me to escape from, I love to play Call of Duty. So you know how you go on your job and someone really, okay, so I'm a chef, and the chef de cuisine, the head chef, the executive chef, sometimes they could be real pain in the asses, right? I mean, to the point where if you're using a whisk, they're like, oh, you need to use a whisk. And I'm like, well, what the fuck is in my hand? Excuse me. I'm like, you know, but you don't really want to say that because then you're insubordinate. Sometimes I will, sometimes I won't. But that's what Call of Duty is for. Or that's why you watch Alto Nights. Music, especially hip hop, is the only genre where it's so scrutinized. Like, I think now with the younger people, it should be, because younger people are really out here committing crimes and killing each other just so they could put it in raps. Before, and it's crazy because someone said this to me the other day, but it's really true. Before raps, people in the 90s really had guns, and it was really doing that. So it just, rap got them out of the streets. I know that's what it did for me. If I stayed in the streets, I would have been dead, right? Those were the dreams that I was getting. So in this state now that we're in, I've been thinking real heavy about, should I pivot a little bit, or how to pivot a little bit, where there's always been a message, but a more defined message on what we're facing today. I plan on doing it, but still catering to who Honey Dinero is. Honey Dinero will make reference to a gun because if you fuck with mine, my family and my loved ones, I will go upside your head. But I also reference that as a strength, a vocal strength, the strength that I have. I was raised with a rusty razor, cricket balls in a sock. I had to go to school like that. So a gun did save my life because a crackhead broke into our house and was going to do something to us. Right. So I've always had that survival mode in records. Some people misconstrue it as, oh, she's just gangster, she'll shoot you. No, that's not it. If you mess with mine, yes, I will defend me. I will defend mine. But also I want to pivot a little bit with what's going on. And being that you asked that question, I know exactly how to do it now. So thank you for that. So yes, I plan on implementing some of that, but still remaining what people love me for.
Megs, I don't have that question for you. My question is this: just the same way how society dictates the temperature in which we consume, as a producer, how do you tap into society with your sound to give society what it needs to heal through your music?
As far as like the society now and how I tap into it, I just I use, like I said, me making beats and, just to escape from that, and, and it's just to get it, it's just to get away. And, I think to me, for all of this that's going on today, I think about it. It's just, it's just another day. It's just another day. And I just say, damn, just move on, I guess we got to roll the punches and stuff like that. But how I deal with it is just, like I said, I use beat making just to, escape from it. And that's pretty much it. That's how I deal with it.
And real quick, I have something to add. We've become a society of hypersensitivity. Can't say this,
Yeah.
can't say that, or
Right.
We need strength again. We need strength again because we have an administration that is putting us in such a, I don't know what to call it yet, but putting us in a thing. We need strength in case we gotta fight, right? So certain energy needs to amp people up, and then a lot of people are lazy and sensitive and will cry about it. We need more strength. We need more people not to be so sensitive about what's being said. We have racists coming, they're coming out, nigga this and all these Karens and Kens or whatever. We need strength. But we also need to learn how and when to act, not just act out of emotion. So I think through music we can do that. It'll rev something up.
Right. And like emotional, like emotional intelligence per se. Yeah.
I'm with y'all because we need hip hop needs an infrastructure just like our economy. It needs to be built up and built correctly. Right now we have China telling everybody, well, all that brand name, all that name brand stuff you buy, it comes from us. And y'all paying for the logos. But you know what China's telling y'all? If y'all really get the correct answer, spend your money with us and don't spend it within your own community. So remember, there's always a message behind the madness, and hip hop is just the same way. Yeah. Ladies, how'd y'all like being on the Heritage Hip Hop podcast? And would y'all recommend us to anybody else?
I love it. I would recommend you. I know some phenomenal people doing some phenomenal things in hip hop that I think you guys could collab on, and it's one of the best interviews I've had. I've shied away from them in the last couple of years because they've been mundane and what made you rap and how long you been rapping, and I just recently disclosed my age and people still don't believe it, but I don't need to be, well, why are you rapping at this age? And just stupid questions. So yeah, definitely. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Took a while, but thank you for having us.
Put that on me. Put that on me. That's funny, yo. That's funny. But you know what? Before Megs answers, I want to say this when it comes to ageism. Podcasting made hip hop grow mature because the radio, they say hip hop is a young man's sport and the radio is its playground. But the podcast is where hip hop has matured and we got to hear the mind, the intellect, and the purpose of what hip hop is. So if anybody ever asked you anything about your age, I'm not gonna take it as disrespect. I'm gonna take it as sometimes youth is wasted on the young. And we have to recognize experience and integrity to grow up. And that's not an age thing, that's a life thing. So even before we came up on here about the things to take, thank you for being alive. Thank you for creating. You are more meaningful to the world than you realize, and I'm glad your light is shining brightly. So please don't dim yourself. Don't ever dim yourself. Absolutely. It says in the book that God made you to be a light and that your light is to shine on top of the mountain and not to be hidden under a bush. So please don't ever hide who you are. Don't hide your voice. Don't hide your creativity because God gave it to you for a reason and you are healing the world with your message. So thank you. Thank you. Max, you got anything you want to say before I start preaching? You muted?
Yeah.
Megs, you muted. Nah. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna give Meg some time. But I'm gonna ask you the last question. Thank you for coming to the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast. It's been a pleasure. And Joe, thank you for everything, Bad Seed. Thank you for everything. Shout out to the 6-man team. Y'all are an incredible organization or conglomerate of musicians, beat makers, artists, etc. Thank you for coming to Heritage Hip Hop Podcast. Sorry, y'all, I don't tell jokes. I'm not funny. But I tried to give y'all something that's entertaining, to give y'all something that's rich. Not only information, but y'all got great artists right here. And y'all need to check them out. So here's my last question before we fade out of here. 500 years from now, Murdamegz and Honey Dinero is going to be in the Hip Hop Hall of Fame. And a kid is going to push a red button on the wall and your holograms. The AI is going to pop out. Just like it did on my phone today. It told me about y'all. It's going to tell them about who you are. How did you make the world better? What is the legacy you left behind that made the world better because you made hip hop?
I think that we show that through adversity, that we still are great creators, that we didn't let anything stop us. With all that we've had to deal with, we still created, we still put out, we still were able to each one teach one, we still were able to reach people and just and be a beacon, like you said, of light for them. And sort of a manual to just not give up, not stop. I mean, outside of what we do for music, we're continuing in education. We work. We are caretakers, mothers, wives, and we still do great music. With everything that's going on, we don't dumb down or put out bad music.
Megs, can you speak? You got it? Nah, we're gonna let Megs go. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank y'all for joining us on the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast. For the shout out to Murdamegz. Murdamegz not only produces great beats, she gave us great conversation. I love her accent too. Megs, you are the shit. Thank you for everything, and I appreciate you. Honey Dinero,
Megs.
Yes, thank you. Honey Dinero, for the first time I seen you perform, I knew you were special. And it didn't take music to make me understand how special you are. It was me listening to your story that got me to appreciate the woman that you are. So Murdamegz, and to the 6-man team, the Honey Dinero, my boy C, my man. And to Joe, shout out to Joe. I just want to tell y'all, may the Most High bless y'all and make y'all get the best out of everything that you put out in this life, because you are worth every breath that you were given. Life is a gift. That's why we live in the present and build for the future, because you inspire so many, not just this show, but so many people who get to share the same air as you, the space as you, and get to listen to your music. Thank you so much. This is Karev at Heritage Hip Hop. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Last words.
Just shout out to the team, 6 Functional. You already know. Shout out to everybody out there listening, and thank you. I mean, you put on a great show. You have a wonderful platform, and thank you for sharing it with us.
And if you never need to build off of that stuff we talked about before, hit me on Instagram.
Gotcha.
I need you around.
Gotcha.
Please.
Gotcha.
All right, y'all. We out of here. May the Most High bless y'all. Peace. And we out.
Real hip hop. Real